welcome to my channel, Driven to Insanity. This video is part 2 of what would it take to make Swift safer. Well, in the first video I talked about how that Swift's executives should have to deal with the same things that drivers do. In this video, we look at another aspect, and that is the equipment that Swift uses. Swift likes to use these internationals that they are very well aware are dangerous. These internationals that they use have a transmission set up in it that does not move when you push the throttle and then will surge on you. Now, does anybody want to tell me how that is supposed to be safe? When you take the control completely away from the driver and instead you put it in the hands of something that is basically a computer or whatever, and it doesn't work diddly. Now, how is that supposed to be safe? Let's look at the reality of it. You're taking the control completely away from the one entity that should have it, the driver. And these things, these internationals that Swift uses, don't move when you push the throttle, and then they will surge. How is that safe? How is that safe? Well, Swift's answer is, a truck is a truck. That's right, people. A truck is a truck. Whether it's dangerous or safe, a truck is a truck. And instead of doing something about these notoriously dangerous trucks, they find it more convenient just to bully a driver. They have a lot of accidents due to these dangerous international trucks that have this fault. They have a lot of accidents, but what does Swift do? They list the accident as driver preventable and then they fire the driver. That's correct. They list it as driver preventable even though the driver had no control. And that's what Swift does. Swift is notorious about listing everything as being driver preventable. Just like in one occasion where I knew this couple that an owl flew through the windshield of their truck at night and Swift listed it as preventable and fired the both of them. Yup, that is the mentality of Swift. Because we all know that Swift does not care about safety. They care more about micromanagement and ripping off drivers, such as when you get a trailer washout at one of their customers and then you have to fight with payroll to get the money back, and then they still figure ways to keep the money because Swift makes a lot of money that way. But that is one of the problems with Swift. And many problems that they have is this equipment, this dangerous equipment. And in fact, I had talked to an executive and he had absolutely no concern. I mentioned how dangerous it was, and his reply was, you can either drive it or you're fired. I said, what about all the safety stuff? Well, we're all about safety. I said, that's not safe. He goes, you can either drive it or you're fired. I told him the truth. I said, all you're concerned is putting all the safety Nazi stuff on there so you can chalk it up on your book saying, look how safe we are. This is how safe we're trying to be. We're putting all the safety stuff on there, and it's not our fault that the drivers are not safe. Actually, it is, because that stuff doesn't make it safer. What it does is it distracts the driver. And if you want to make it safer, well, watch my videos, and you'll understand. When you have drivers with a lot of experience, and they have a very clean safety records, anybody with half a brain cell would understand that, hey, when you are the biggest laughing stock in the industry and you want to be safer, talk to those drivers. Look at your equipment that you know is dangerous, like those internationals, and you get rid of them. Because when you have junk, when you have dangerous junk, you don't have safety. You also don't keep your quality drivers by bullying them into driving them trucks. Junk begets junk. And so, that is one of the things that Swift could do that would make them a safer company, is they would get rid of the dangerous equipment, and then they should look at how they treat their drivers. They get rid of all this safety Nazi stuff that distracts the drivers, Because if you want to keep your drivers, you want to keep your good drivers, your quality, it's simple. Leave them alone and let them do their job. They don't need your micromanaging, you got a drive cam, which we know that Swift's obsessed with, you got a drive cam. In fact, they should print that on their trucks, you got a drive cam. Because they love you got a drive cam. Because that's what Swift is all about, is you got a drive cam. Because they're not about safety. You do not get to be the biggest laughing stock in the industry that is known internationally as a laughing stock by being safe. J.B. Hunt figured that issue out when they were the biggest laughing stock, and they did something about it. When they asked their senior drivers, their experienced drivers that had clean records, and they told them the truth, J.B. Hunt acted on that. And now J.B. Hunt is an absolutely awesome company. They're very hard to get onto because a company that will hire anybody will fire anybody. So Swift, get rid of your junk equipment, stop bullying your drivers, and remember, drivers are human beings. They have families, they have people that love them. American goods do not get delivered in the back of a Volkswagen. They get delivered in the back of a truck. You got it, trucks brought it. Without trucks, you'd be hungry, homeless, and naked. So Swift, remember this, drivers are humans, and they have something that your executives don't. It's called a soul. So everyone, be safe, drive safe, have respect for others, and remember, be humbly grateful, not grumbly hateful. You got it, we brought it. Have a nice day.